I'm back again, this time to talk about the tools you'll need to make a Walkin and safe talking stick. The first tool that I want to recommend that you get is some kind of a clamping device. I'm recommending, if you don't have a permanently attached device to your working table, such as I have here, you use a C-clamp. These are readily available. They're under $10, and they hold down the pieces of work so that it will be stable and won't move around when you're working on it. For instance, you've got to cut the tip off of the stick, and in order to do that, you clamp it in place like this so it's stable and it won't go anywhere. I'm going to tighten it up. There we go. And you can perform the next step on this without ever worrying about it moving or getting out of hand. A clamp is a very, very important safety device, plus it improves the quality of your work. So get a clamp. The first step will be to use a saw to cut off 1 inch of the tip of the stick. All right? I recommend a coping saw. This is a little saw with a nice little blade. It can get into small places and do work. And once again, it's about $10 at a local hardware store. If you have a regular saw, that'll work well too. If you have a skill saw, you can use that. The next thing we have to do is have some measuring tools. When we talk about putting the handhold, as we've got here, onto our stick, you get to decide where you want it to be. My handhold is 20 inches down from the top. I like that the best, but you may like it to be in another spot. Once you figure out where you want the handhold to be, you're going to need to measure down the exact amount on your stick and mark it. Let's say you want yours to be 22 inches down, so we'll mark 22 inches. Not only that, what I like to do is I like to mark the exact position and make it square right straight across the stick by using a T-square like this. The handhold is recommended to be 5 inches, so we'll go back 5 inches there, make a small mark, and once again, make a square line across. I make lines all the way around the stick so I'll know exactly where I'm supposed to be sanding. So you want to measure and mark. Those are the tools to do that. Once you've decided where your handhold is going to be, you're going to want to remove the edges because they're pretty sharp and they aren't comfortable for hand holding. So I get a sanding block like this that you can once again buy at a hardware store for under $10, and it will accept sandpaper. I recommend coarse sandpaper, 60 to 80 grit. You can buy a sheet of that. That's going to be more than enough. It'll give you 3 pieces of paper if you fold it in thirds and tear it apart and slide it into this. And now you can sand. But once again, I recommend that before you start sanding, you anchor your part onto the thing with your C-clamp, like I'm trying to do here. There we go. And once you've got that in position, you can now easily come along and sand very precisely because your part is being held firmly. Your sanding will be very, very effective. Then you undo it, rotate it, and do each of the 4 sides and sand it down to whatever it is feels comfortable for you. Then you'll have a nice hand holding position. Okay? The last thing you need to do is to drill a hole. We've got a sign that we want to put up at the top, and the way we affix the sign to our stick is we drill a hole, and into that hole we'll place a small wood dowel, and we'll have a hole in the blocks that we have made, so now we can affix the sign to our stick. So we have to have a drill to drill a nice hole. Once again, anchor it solidly, use a piece of wood underneath it to saw into it. So if we have a piece of wood like this and we have it anchored in place and we know exactly where we want that hole to be, then we can come along and drill with our drill and create the hole in the stick to which we will affix our sign. So those are the tools that you need. If you don't have all of these tools, maybe one of your neighbors will have a drill, that, for instance, that you need. We don't recommend that you go out and buy an awful lot of things. You probably have good tools that you can use in your home, or your neighbor has them and he'll loan them to you. So these are the tools, not very many, that you need. Good luck. It'll be fun.